Welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you were watching this morning's show, if you were watching a little reality rants this morning, and you caught me talking about the fact that I was a bit torn over the fact that I was about to have Alan Dershowitz on the program. Alan Dershowitz was booked today for making sense of the madness. And obviously, it was a moral conundrum for me. At one point, obviously, Dershowitz has been accused of some pretty terrible things. On top of that, even if you believe that he's innocent of all those things that he is accused of, he also got Jeffrey Epstein his sweetheart deal and was obviously buddy-buddy with the guy. A lot of people were buddy-buddy with Epstein. Let's be honest about that, too. But at the same time, I didn't book the guy. I knew that he was going to be on this weekend when I was going over the week's programs, and I saw him in there. And I was like, okay, this is a moral conundrum. About 2 months ago, probably on the broadcast, I went on a tirade about how I was constantly seeing Dershowitz on mainline conservative shows, such as Tucker Carlson. I think he had just done Alex Jones's show, etc., etc., etc. So he was certainly not somebody I was seeking out. That being said, he was on to talk about his new book, Get Trump, okay? And we were going to talk about that book. I want to make that very clear. I was going to be as gracious as a host as I possibly could have. So here's the skinny, guys. I do have the videotape of it. I don't know if we're ever going to play it. Maybe it'll get played tomorrow. Maybe it'll never get played. I don't know. But I got in one line, and Alan Dershowitz apparently, and I didn't see this part because when we do the show, I only see what's on the screen on the air. Before the opening credits even happened, after my one line, he threw his hands up and he walked off. What was that one line? Well, I said that to buckle up. This may be the most interesting Making Sense of the Madness or show I've ever done. And it certainly had that potential that it could have been the most interesting show that I had ever done. And then I called him notorious. I called him maybe the most notorious lawyer out there. I honestly did not. I was trying to go between infamous and notorious. And neither one did I think had a negative connotation. I looked them both up afterwards, and I guess that they do kind of have a negative connotation. But at the same time, without me knowing, it goes to the little intro where it shows the graphics. And then I called him, basically part of the culture for as long as I can remember. I didn't even get that far. He threw his hands up after the one line and left the broadcast. First of all, I want to apologize to AMP News. Again, it was not my intention. I went in there fully intended on interviewing Alan Dershowitz for 30 minutes. In fact, I even cut my monologue almost completely out because I wanted to spend as many minutes as I possibly could with Alan and not only talk to him about the Trump documents case, the previous impeachment case, but at the very least, even if I wasn't going to talk to Dershowitz about Epstein, and certainly I felt like at the end I would have had to sneak in a Les Wexner question and the Virgin Islands case for sure. But I was going to ask him about the Espionage Act, Assange, the irony that Trump has now been charged with it because he actually was part of the WikiLeaks and legal team for Assange. And he has called for Assange to basically be pardoned or all the charges dropped against him for some time. He's been good on that issue. So, again, I really wanted this one to work out. On the other side of that, though, seeing what he's been accused of, whether you believe it or not, or his association with Epstein, the second half of the show, which ended up being the whole show, and it's a great show, by the way. I encourage you to check it out today at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It was with ourrescue.org and the people that are helping to put out the Caviezel picture, right? Sound of Freedom. So on one end, I would have had somebody that bare minimum got one of the most prolific sex traffickers and child abusers of all time. One of the best deals you could ever imagine, right, Smoke? And then on the other side of that, you know, I was supposed to have on, let's see if that's going to change it all. No. On the other hand, you have men and women who are working towards the goal of saving children with Operation Underground Railroad and Angel Films. I mean, to me anyway, there's a bit of a moral conflict there, right? And I don't think I'm being crazy for stating that. I don't think that I'm out of line for pointing out, wait a minute, that's a little weird, right? At the same time, you know, I already saw the comment section of my video from this morning, and so many people were mad at me about the Dershowitz system, thing. Look, I was losing sleep over this last night. Just so everybody knows, I was literally losing sleep over this. I didn't get a lot of sleep on Sunday night. I mean, bare minimum, guys, I think I got less than 2 hours. And so I made it a super effort yesterday not to take a nap, just power through everything I had to do, and get in bed at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Because, you know, I get up at 5:30, 6 in the morning anyway. So just making sure I at least got the 8 hours. It didn't happen. Tossed and turned and rolled around till almost 1 a.m. Finally, took some melatonin and some other pills and fell asleep and still didn't feel great in the morning. And then started to think about Alan Dershowitz again. And being like, boy, this is going to be a weird day. And then, you know, when I logged on, I'm not going to lie, you know, I expressed some concerns to one of the producers, and they were aware of what my concerns might be. And at the same time, again, I'm always going to try to do my job to my best of my ability. And I'm always going to be honest with you guys. It's no paycheck is worth me selling my soul. No paycheck is worth me promoting evil. But I'm also a guy who's willing to talk to anybody. And I think the interview could have been intelligent, explosive. It could have been something different than you've seen with Dershowitz in the past, even when he has been called out on some of his Johnny nonsense, when he said things like, the government has a right to plunge a needle into your arm. That's another issue that obviously we're going to disagree on, right? So there it is, guys. I don't know if he's ever going to be booked again. I don't know if I hope I didn't get him so he doesn't even want to go on our network anymore. That's shitty. And I'm not trying to be a shitty person. It's not what I'm about. But once again, if you're just tuning in, one line and Dershowitz walked right out. Didn't answer a question. You won't even get to see his face in the broadcast other than like the chat meeting room right before I give my countdown. And then you see him, and then you don't. And then you see him, and then you don't. So there it is. All of those people that were sweating the Dershowitz interview didn't even happen. I pissed them off with one line. Oh, and it's funny, man. I'm sitting here. I'm doing this walk along. We've lost close to 100 subscribers this month. No gain. Forget about gaining subscribers. We're losing subscribers. Okay? We're losing views on YouTube. The algorithm is recommending us less and less and less. In fact, this live stream has just about as many people watching it as live were watching the show this morning. You know, on the YouTube anyway. That's why Rumble's so important. That's why the RVM stream is so important. RVMRumble.com is so important. Because we need the information to get out. I think my show is unique. I really do. I believe in what I do. I think I give a fresh perspective on a lot of subjects that many people either are not talking about, or when they're talking about them, unfortunately, it is in this false left-right paradigm nature, right? This team sports nature. And you're never going to get that with me, you know? I don't like that conservatives coddle certain people, right? I don't like the Bill Barrs of the world. I don't like the Mike Pompeos of the world. I don't like those that buddied up with Epstein and, you know, got him deals. So I think that's about it for the subject. As me and Smokey take our walk here in the park in beautiful Iowa. A little cloudy out. If you're seeing all that mist, if everything seems a little grayed over, I'm not sure if this is forest fires or what's going on. I've never seen it this gray, and I mean it's not tough to breathe, but you definitely, when you breathe in, there's a little bit extra, right? There's a little bit extra of, I don't even know how to describe it, because it's not so much a burnt wood feeling, but it's just like an inhalation of nature, akin to maybe a little musty or dusty fresh grass mowing. So thumbs it up, subscribe, share. If you like the broadcast, the links are down below to support us. Remember, redvoicemedia.com/uncensored for two uncensored interviews each and every week. We just put up the powerful interview with Stuart J. Hooper on the Wagner Group, the mercenaries, and what happened in Russia. I think it is the most intelligent take that you are going to find anywhere in mainstream or alternative media. So if you're a supporter, definitely get over there, check that out. Let me know what you think. Guys, thank you for joining me. I absolutely love you. It is not about left or right. It is always about right and wrong. And we will see you on the flip side.